a realist. We've got these self-evident truths. I've got them, you got them too. Free at last, or so they say. Thank God Almighty for showing the way. I've got and you got the script to this play. I see a yellow flash, yes I see it in you. Thank God Almighty for singing the tune. I've got it and you got it too. The slow plains, the mountains and fell. Paraphrase each other, imitate the path between your pages.
Okay, so how did you start out?
I had piano lessons from quite a young age, so that was my first contact with an instrument.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what grade did you do?
I didn't do grades, but I was working from like a grade 4 book when I stopped having lessons a few years later after I started.
Okay. And a little birdie tells me actually that you performed with an artist called Beth Orton.
I supported her at a gig, yeah, years ago, yeah.
What was that like?
It was at the Spitz. Do you remember the Spitz? It was a nice venue in East London. They closed down, and Beth Orton and a few other people who played there over the years came back to play it the sort of last night.
Okay.
And yeah.
Cool. What's she like as a person?
I didn't speak to her.
Oh.
I don't know. I'm not a big fan of her.
Really?
I hadn't really heard much of her stuff at the time, and I still haven't.
Your MySpace actually reads,
Yeah.
"Riots are always better under the
And the
Tories."
Yeah.
Tell me a bit about that.
Well, it's a quote I read in the anarchist newspaper Freedom. I just thought it was funny and true. And sure enough, a couple of years later, there was some riots, I believe, weren't there? So.
Are you a fan of the Smiths, by the way?
Well, every time I read about the Smiths, I always think there's an article at the moment I just read in one of the broadsheets, and every time I read about them, I think this band are going to be, one day I'm going to listen to them and I'm going to be a big fan, because Morrissey, as we know, is a famous lyric writer. But I've never got round to it. I know some of the songs because they're so famous.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're called, but I know I'd recognise them.
Wow.
But I need to get The Queen is Dead or something, don't I? And listen to headphones.
I'm quite shocked that you haven't listened to much of the Smiths, because you kind of struck me as kind of a Morrissey kind of character. So yeah.
Well, I am. Yeah, I'm that generation. I'm that kind of,
Well, how old are you?
38.
38. He looks good.
I was lost and now I'm found, but heaven spoke beyond the cloud, and something told me I was bound. Gonna hitch a ride on the wind and see where I blow. It's taken me 1,000 steps to get to here. I've broken my legs and my back to get to here. The rising sun.
Who do you look up to musically, would you say, if it's not?
Bob Dylan, obviously.
Yeah.
Leonard Cohen, Bert Jansch, and others like that. John Martin, Nick Drake.
And what do we have to do to get your music?
You can order it from anywhere, any shop, but it's not really in stock in HMV. So you can go on my website, you can go on iTunes, but for a physical copy, I think my website's the quickest way. CD Baby.
Could you show me some of the CDs? Yeah.
This is my latest one.
I love the way you held it. No. This is my latest one. Brilliant. There's the Frontline one that actually caught my eye. What's that about? Do you want to tell me a bit about this one?
The song is which the title song is a song about. It's like a history song. It's like an essay, a very short thing, and it's it's one of my strong songs.
this time, the recent situation will carry us on, and I miss you to be with you. From the fall of Bastille to the rise of Ho Chi Minh, I'm reading the history to measure our sin. Today we've got the land, and take it this time. In the name of my brother, here on this front line, I miss you to go with you, and so it goes.
Would you say your lyrics are kind of Dylan orientated? Would you? Are you that kind of writer?
Well, everything is post Dylan. Everything owes something to him. But I don't think I owe more to him than any contemporary songwriter. But it's not for me to say. So.
Okay. And do you plan to do another album? What was your latest album out of the three?
So this is my first one.
Oh,
so
that's
it's
the
first. It's called Spotlight.
Okay.
Here on this front line, and then I did this one last year, Looking for the Grave of Garcia Lorca.
Yeah. What's the theme of that one? Because I was trying to work out. I was online
Well,
and.
The title song is Looking for the Grave of Garcia Lorca. Lorca was a poet, a Spanish poet and playwright. So the song is about his looking for his grave. He was buried, shot and buried, and they're not sure where he's buried. So
you said about giving me a copy.
Yeah.
I think I actually. Is that cheeky?
No, not at all. You can have it.
That sounds really good. That album does. So yeah, I'll take that one off you.
Yeah.
I once heard a story, a man lying in a ditch, an unmarked tomb in the woods, guarded by a witch. You can burn and bear the truth with me, but it'll come out with a ring. The grave of Garcia Lorca and all those who feel the same.
So, what kind of audience would be your ideal audience to have? That was the question.
Anyone who likes it is ideal.
Yeah. And what type of people do you think would like you as an artist?
I don't know. I don't know.
How would you change the world if you could? Would it be through music? Would it be through lyrics?
No. I don't think it makes any difference. I don't think any art form has any impact whatsoever in improving the living standards of working people.
Why do you think that is?
Because your living standards is how much access to wealth and resources you have. And listening to a song it's a completely separate thing. You know, it's a spiritual thing, it's a nice thing, it's a really healthy thing, a good thing.
Yonder hill and yonder stream told me what the bird song means. The high life comes fleeting fast, but quickly blows away.
You have a lot of mention in your lyrics of God.
Yeah,
Have you got any spiritual views? What are your views?
No. The reason why I use some biblical language is because I like it and it's my culture. And that language is my culture and I own it, so I can talk about God, but it doesn't make me Christian.
Do you believe in God?
No.
Why not?
Because there isn't one.
How do you know there's not one?
Well, we can't prove that there isn't one. We just can't prove that there is one. And until there's proof, I'll either suspend judgment or,
So wouldn't you call yourself more agnostic rather than atheist if you can't prove there is a God and you can't prove there is?
I don't think there's a God. So.
Cool. Thank you so much for your time. Cheers.
From the slow plains, the mountains fell. Paraphrase each each other